Hi, this is Villavito. In this video, we're gonna learn about the historical development of the atom or the chemical elements in a timeline. So in short, atom is the smallest unit into which matter can be divided without the release of electrically charged particles. It is also the smallest unit of matter that has the characteristic properties of a chemical element. The historical development of the atom is all started in 400 BC when Democritus created the first atomic model. Democritus was born in Abdera, Greece. His mentor Leucippus originally came up with the atomic theory, but it was then adopted by Democritus. The atomic theory stated that the universe is composed of two elements, the atoms and the void in which they exist and move. His contribution helped people with understanding the idea of an atom and help other scientists a further look into science of the atom and its generic makeup. And the same year, Aristotle's theory made a great generalization of all matter being made of the four elements: fire, water, and earth and air. He also believed that there were four qualities to these elements: dryness, hotness, coldness, and moistness. Based on these beliefs, fire would hold the characteristics of being dry and hot, water is wet and cold, air is hot and wet, while the earth is dry and cold. Later on in the year 1897, J.J. Thomson discovered the plum pudding model of the atom. J.J. Thomson was born in Cheetah Hill. Thomson was interested in atomic structure, which was evident in his book Treatise on the Motion of Vortex Rings, which he won the Adams Prize for in 1884. J.J. Thomson is also known as Joseph John Thomson. J.J. Thomson discovered the electron in 1897, proposed the plum pudding model of the atom in 1904. Before the discovery of the atomic nucleus, in order to include in atomic model, Thomson's model, the atom proposed of electrons, which Thomson still called corpuscles. So corpuscles is a minute body or cell in an organism such as red or white cell. And the next scientist who discovered the atom is Ernest Rutherford. Ernest Rutherford was from Brightwater, New Zealand. Ernest Rutherford described the atom as having a central positive nucleus surrounded by negative orbiting electrons. In 1911, Ernest Rutherford theorized that atoms have their positive charge concentrated in a very small nucleus. He pioneered the Rutherford model of the atom with his discovery and interpretation of Rutherford's scattering in his gold foil experiment. In his experiment, where nitrogen nuclei were bombarded with his alpha particles. The next scientist who discovered atom was Niels Bohr. He was from Copenhagen, Denmark. Niels Bohr added on to Rutherford theory with his own model. His interpretation was that electrons orbited the nucleus of an atom in predefined energy levels, and if the energy level was dropped, they would emit a photon. In the year 1913, Niels Bohr presented a picture of an atomic structure. He passed on the study of the structure of atoms based on Rutherford's discovery of the atomic nucleus. This led him to the picture of his atom. The next scientist was Erwin Schrödinger. He is from Vienna, Australia. Erwin Schrödinger built onto Bohr's model of the atom with the electron cloud model, of which interpreted the evading motion of the electrons instead of having a set path for them to travel. He figured that likelihood of the location of the electrons in atoms. According to Schrödinger, orbitals are areas of space around the nucleus in an atom. In year 1926, Erwin Schrödinger generated a mathematical model for the distribution of electrons in an atom. The solution to the Schrödinger equation had two quantum numbers which provide the address of the electrons in an atom. Erwin Schrödinger developed a powerful model of the atom in 1926. He combined the equation for the behaviors of wave with the de Broglie equation to generate mathematical model for the distribution of electrons in an atom. And last scientist was Werner Heisenberg. He was from Würzburg, Germany. One of his most memorable discoveries is the uncertainty principle. He said this means the electrons do not travel in neat orbits. Also, all electrons that contain photons will then change momentum and physics. In 1927, Werner Heisenberg, the foundation of quantum mechanics and the cloud model of the atom was laid. The uncertainty principle stated simplistically that the more precisely the position of an electron is determined, the less precisely the momentum, mass, and velocity is known in this instant and vice versa. In 21st century, we have the modern atomic theory. The modern atomic theory states that atoms of one element are the same, while atoms of different elements are different atoms of the same elements. That is, atoms with the same number of protons with different numbers of neutrons are called isotopes. Most natural occurring elements exist as isotopes.